Hello everyone. This channel is only Hellana Taylor now. No, but I love this. Okay, I love this. You know, I love when people have their grandstand, right? And first, I like to make fun of people who have a grandstand. It's bonus here, right? She was out like, I am the most morally superior woman ever, and of course she was lying, right, and so on. I think it's funny. As I said in my first video, immediately when I called her a liar, right, I knew that this is gonna go shit for her, because every time someone grandstands, someone comes out and say, well, I dig up your closet skeleton, so, you know. But anyway, so we're back again with Taylor, because now, of course, she's doubling down, baby. And I love that shit, right? She's like, I'm a liar, but I'm also a liar, right? And it's just so weird. So she comes back here, and, I mean, I said it from the beginning, I think some people are giving me, that she kind of felt somewhat unhinged, right? In the first video, as she attacked, you know, Jennifer Hale, basically attacked all the developers and so on, right? So she felt, you know, sometimes you feel that, right? You meet someone and you're like, well, okay, that's a little, you come off a little weird to me. The vibes are a little weird, right? Now, of course, I have a master's degree in human psychology, right? And I work with that. So it's a little bit like, to me, she felt, it's also one reason why I call her a liar immediately, right? Where I didn't trust her at all with one. I have experience from the game industry, and I would say that I'm good at reading people, because that's what I work with every day in my life. So I was like, nah, this feels weird. But anyway, to continue on for this mental madness, seriously, she's doubling down, right? She's like, yes, I did lie, but I'm not a liar. And this is crazy talk, because she basically is like, I am not a liar, even though I did lie. And she admits here, in this thread, I'm going to show you the thread, guys, but she admits to lying in this thread, but also she's like, but I'm not a liar. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't come out and say, yes, I did lie last week, but I'm also not a liar. You know what I mean? They completely logically collapsed, right? And I felt she was already kind of, you know, unhinged, you know, in vid 1, 2, and 3, right? But now this is even more unhinged, because again, we're gonna see here how she's admitting to lying, yet she refused to call herself a liar. Right? Doesn't make any sense. It's like, I'm not a murderer, I'm not a killer. but anyway, so let's read it. It comes to my attention. Some people are calling me a liar, which of course she is, and she's a proven liar, right? And I call her a liar immediately. I need to defend myself as my rep. And this is something I don't understand what she keeps doing, but I guess it's for sympathy, right? Because she has no industry work. This is something a lot of people said over and over again, right? That, and me as well, right? That she has not done anything for 8 years. And even before those 8 years, like the last 10, 11 years, it was only Bayonetta, right? She did like Bayonetta in Smash and so on. So she has probably, this I don't know for a fact, this is just my theory, but I think, agree with me, right? She has, how say it? She probably has a terrible rep, right? Because yes, she got to be the leading role in Bayonetta, as we all know, of course, as we're here. And then no one else hired her, right? That tells me, from my experience, and I think from most industry experience, and industry you work in, it's like, that sounds really weird, you know. If I met someone that was a lead programmer at, let's say, I don't know, Civilization or whatever, some random game, you know what I mean? Call of Duty or whatever, right? If someone was the lead programmer there, and then they didn't work for 8, 9 years, or basically 10 years, right? I would be very strange, because I'm like, the lead programmer on like a high AAA game? That guy is probably pretty good at his job, right? So why, yeah, that rep has to be terrible, because, and I mean rep as in no one likes you in the industry, right? Like, you know, you only made enemies at the company, whatever. No one likes you, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how she comes off, right? So it's again, she has no industry rep at all. I mean, it has to be terrible, right? That's what I'm guessing from the beginning. But anyway, yeah. She's like, I'm not a liar. Okay, and she keeps going. As I posted my video, as I posted part 3 of my video thread, I explained that the first was too low. And now she immediately here admits that it was a different value. Yeah, now she admits that it was $10,000, right? So you're like, okay, but then you're a liar. Right, but you're a liar then, because now you're admitting. I mean, we knew she was lying, but I mean, now she's openly lying here, because now she's admitting that it was a higher value. I mean, $4,000, that is like, of course, 250% more than she claimed last time, right? So that is severely more money. And then she also has this, keeps doing this lie too. And this is so stupid by her, and not to sit there and psychoanalyze her too much, even though I do work with profiling, so I'm kind of like, it's kind of my thing to profile people and analyze stuff, because that's what I get paid for to do. I feel a lot of days in my life. But I think this is very dumb of her, right? This is very stupid, in the sense that She obviously lied about the whole $450 million industry. I mean, the value doesn't make any sense, right? She's been called out for that many times. She's called a liar, right? How she's over-representing the value of the actual Bayonetta franchise is way less, right? And what I mean is why it's so stupid is because, okay, so first she lied in the first video, right? To get more. Oh my god, the game is worth so much money. But now then, there's one thing again that she's been called out for so many times. You would imagine that she at least would, stop doing that lie, right? That's the first lie she made immediately that everyone knew was a lie, right? Like, again, without having seen the Bloomberg article, we all knew that this thing was a lie. We all knew that she lied immediately. We all knew that was a lie right from the beginning. So she keeps hammering, doubling down on that. That's again, really doubling down stupid, right? Because, come on, like we know it's a lie. You know what I mean? But anyway, so she really stopped doing that, right? And then she's like, as a creative, and this is why she's gonna write something later. Obviously, I read it once earlier. She's about team playing, which is, I really hate this with her, but this is something you can see trending, right? She's like, oh, Hideo Kamiya, he's a creative guy. I'm a creative guy. Doesn't he respect creative people, And I declined. Didn't talk to me for 11 months, and then of course it comes back to this 4,000. This is what some other people has assumed, right? The $4,000 the second time, right, was actually a cameo, right? So, and that again isn't underpaid because, so the next time they offered her a $4,000, right? That's a 1 day pay, right? That's not a $16,000 whatever. The second time they offered her, the 4K, which she of course lied about, pretending that was a full thing, is actually to voice, a few voice lines as another, Bayonetta from another universe, something like that. Right? We don't know, the game is coming of course soon this week, and I have of course pre-ordered collector's edition. But yeah, we don't know exactly, right? But obviously, in this context here, right, is probably she would voice an alternative universe Bayonetta, right? And that's 1 day's work, right? So that is still the same hourly pay, $1,000 per hour, and it's only 1 day, right? So you know what I mean? Like, come on, like that is still extremely well paid. That is an absurd well paid. That's a month's salary in 1 day work. Like, what are you complaining about, right? And it is so silly too, and I said it earlier as well, but it's so silly that she is all salty over not getting, $100,000 or whatever, right? And now they kicked her out. They were like, "You're crazy. You're not worth that money. Let's hire, another was there. Also a much better, a much more famous actor, right? We can all disagree or agree or whatever, right, on who is the best VA of Jennifer Hale and Hellana Taylor, but Jennifer Hale is way more famous, right? That is objectively true. She's way more famous, so she's more valuable, right, for the company to have, right? That is objectively true. She's way more famous, right? But anyway, so even after she fought to them, right, about the salary earlier, 1 year earlier, they still offer her $4,000 for 1 day work, right, to get a little bit of a cameo. So they're still being nice to her. So they still think about it. Platinum Games is nice to her, right? Because if I was them, I would probably be like, F you, right? I'd be like, you messed up last year when you tried to get $1 million for something dumb. You're crazy, get out, But this is a very Japanese thing, right? I worked in Japan in the past one. Obviously, I know a lot about Japanese culture, right? This is very Japanese. They're very, honorable. But she was the original voice actor. Let's give her a chance, This is very Japanese culture. They're basically being overly nice to her, right? If she was in America, they'd be like, F you, get F out, right? Yeah, they would be like, you lost your chance, crazy woman, right? So they're also being too nice to her. But anyway, I digress, but it's ridiculous. And then she's like, no, I never demanded. But here, I think it's a very cool input here. She's like, no, I never demanded, a $250,000. But what I hate here so much, right, of this part is that whatever, maybe that's true, maybe she never asked for a $250,000, but she asked for like $100,000, right? And I've never seen this before, and this is typically a Taylor move, right? She's always over-exaggerating, right? But the only thing I've read, according to Bloomberg, is that she asked for $100,000, right? I've never seen this value before, $250,000. That is again her probably use. As always, she seems to be very, over-exaggerating, right? Again, I've never seen her actually mention this before, right? So this is her, I believe, just taking the number from Bloomberg and, adding up, doubling it, you know what I mean? So very Hellana Taylor, right? I'm just doubling it. But anyway, what I hate so much this line here, right? I'm a team player, I'm a team player. And this is what I really hate, right? Really hate, right? Again, I keep saying it like a broken record, but of course, this is where she irked me the worst, right, when I first saw the video. As I keep saying, I knew she was lying immediately because of her behavior, because I worked as a voice director, so I knew that the salary sounded fine, etc. I knew about the union pay and all the stuff, right? But what irks me so wrong, right, massively, if this is my first video, is that I have worked as, a game developer, right? I've been a programmer, I've been a game designer, mostly because I'm a designer. But I've done, some other stuff too, but mostly then as a game designer, right? Technical game designer, some like coder / designer and so on, right? Lead designer and so on, etc. Obviously, I've been working for many years, so you go up in the level design, you get my point, right? And also done economic design, whatever, you get my point. It irks me so mad, right? Because I'm just like, but what about everyone else? When she goes out, it's like, boycott the game, right? I am thinking about all those people, right, at Pondering Games, they have been working on this game, right, for 2-3 years, maybe even longer, right? I don't know exactly how long they've been pre-planning it, right? But the lead designers and the directors and all, they might be working for even more than 3 years. They might have been, working. They've probably been writing the scripts, right? Thinking about boss fights, the storyline, come up with some new mechanics. That might be something they've been done for years, before the actual development starts. The designers have probably planned it out, right? And then of course they come back with new ideas and planning out boss fights to do them. So they might be for 4 years, right? Like I said, I worked with game designs mostly, right? And one game I worked on as a lead creative director guy, I started on that game, right, with the owners of the company, 6-7 months before the actual production starts, right? Because then you're gonna get investment in, you're gonna get this thing. So then I wrote, I designed the basic of the game, right? And I worked on in pitching it to get investors to want. So you think about that stuff too, right? If you're a game designer or kind of that CEO or whatever, the production guy, you might have been half a year, in before the actual coders gets there, right? Because you have to also get the investment, the money, the founding, all this stuff, right? So in this case here, right, they probably had to go to Nintendo, right? Hey, Nintendo, you want to make a third game? Think about that, right? There's obviously been people that has had to work with Nintendo as they're the investor, right? It's paying for it. And must have been a year probably before the actual game development starts, right? So but anyway, my point is that generally speaking, right, this is a game that's been done for 2-3 years, maybe 4 years by some people, right? Get my point. And to then come out and say that, no, I'm a team player. I'm a team player, guys. But also, you should boycott that game. You know what I mean? It is a terrible, absurd lack of, delusional state of mind, right? As I keep saying, she irks me the most because she attacked the new VA and she basically attacked all the developers, saying that F them. They worked in this game for, as I said, 3-4 years, whatever, who cares, F them all, don't give them any money. But I think that it's about money, right? I keep coming back to that. But if you are a game developer, and especially as a game designer, the greatest joy from being a game designer is having people play your game, right? And then, you can watch them play the game, you can talk to them and see, oh, do you like this boss fight? What do you think about this new weapon? The fun of being a game designer, right, is having people experience a game you have designed, right? So if I would have designed a boss fight in Bayonetta, I want people to experience that boss fight, right? And then see what they take. Is it hard? Is it too hard? Is it a fun mechanic? Right? So it's a massive disservice, right? To say don't buy the game because of money, whatever, and that you're throwing the whole team under the bus, right? So I think this is the worst part. She's like, I'm a team player. I like everyone. You know what I mean? It is so absurdly. She's completely insane, honestly. She feels like she's completely off, right? Because she's not a team player. She's insanely not a team player, right? Even if you ignore her attacking on the developers, she also immediately was like, Jennifer Hale is the wrong voice. F her. You know what I mean? She has never represented herself at all as a team player. She's like the least team playing person I've seen for a long time, right? It's just like, what is he talking about? You've never been a team player. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, right? She probably is a terrible team player. I mean, even before this thing, because she has never had any other role after Bayonetta, right? Which probably tells me that she actually probably was hard to work with on Bayonetta or whatever, or afterwards, right? She never went to the convention or whatever. No one seems to like her in it. Let's be honest, no one seems to like her in into that. And I think we know why. But even before this, right, for the last 8 years, no one has hired her. Probably because she's the worst team player ever. And then she goes out to like, F everyone. But I care about the team. I care about the little guys. No, I care about the little guys. One thing I will say though, no one really knows this, right? But I feel that she's either is very rich or she's very poor, right? Either she's poor and delusional, right? and she could have made, you know, like 20K in one day, whatever. Yeah, if it's no, but I get this feeling, and I haven't been confirmed, but I get this feeling that she's actually very wealthy, you know, yeah, because she's so incredibly entitled. We talked about that, of course, everyone kept calling her entitled the video. And this is again an entitlement, you know. She's like, no, I am the game, you know. I bring the most value. Screw everyone else that worked for 3-4 years because I worked there for 1 week or something. You know what I mean? And you know, she's willing to like not take a really good salary, you know, comparably, right, for a week's work or for 1 day's work. And she's willing to throw every developer under the bus and so on, right? And yeah, she's either just crazy and doesn't understand money or worth or whatever, right? In a poor way. But it kind of comes off to me more and more that she's like really rich, right? And I wish someone could, you know, expose her on that. I mean, not that I think you can be rich. I mean, it's fine being rich, right? But I'm just saying that, is that where she's coming from, right? That she's living in like Ivory Tower, and she's like, oh, those peasants, those developers, those designers, artist people, they have no value to me. Because I mean, my guess is that it's probably complete opposite. She's basically a super rich lady, maybe born into wealth, right? Like she's a very, very, probably, I feel, this is obviously I'm just guessing here, right? Again, that's my last point here, but I would guess that she, because of it, you know, that she's born into wealth, right? She's like a very rich girl, right? You know, grows up very, very wealthy, and has, because she has like absolute zero respect, right, for basically anyone does that, you know, the hard work, right, so to speak. And I don't mean that VA doesn't do hard work, because gigs and so on, but I mean, think about it as a carpenter, you know, think about it as building a house, right? The developer is kind of like the carpenter, right, doing the house, right? The designer is kind of the architect, you know, and the artist is kind of like does the interior, right? Does the painting, does the wall, and you get my point, yeah. And she's just like, they're all peasants. I am the queen. I am the one that named the house. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's like, I'm the one that will live here in my tent house. She has this kind of weird feeling that she basically looks down on all of them as like peasant animals that, you know, they do the hammer, the hammer, the nail. They have no value to me. Honestly, that's how I feel this go off. Even in the first video, I felt she had that kind of ivory, you know, I living in my ivory tower, and I look down at the peasants, right? But yeah, I think more and more she's either is cray-cray or she's probably super, what's it called? Yeah, like entitled, affluated, yeah, something like extremely rich or something. That's my guess, honestly. I don't know at all, right? I haven't seen anyone confirm or deny that, because she claimed it's super poor in her video, but I really don't think so at all. And, you know, think about it, she turned down all this money, right, twice, and it does come off more to me that she probably is just so entitled to be like, I am Bayonetta, and the money might actually not, you know, and she's just salty, and, you know, she's gonna ruin it for everyone else. Yeah, honestly, I wonder if she cares about the money, right? At all. Maybe she just wants to be like, I am this thing, and you put on a person's voice, so I will ruin it for everyone because I don't care about money, right? Also, will explain why she's worked for 8 years, right? Was she, you know, maybe. What do you guys think? And I see you guys have a great day.